Here we are for another Liar Liar look at Saul Alinsky's 12 Rules for Radicals. We're getting closer to the end, and now we're on to number 7. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Our president really doesn't know the meaning of sitting still. It seems like every month he is in office, we are presented with another issue that could radically alter the course of our country. We're just going to look at some of the bigger issues our president has tried to tackle in his first 9 months in office. First up, the environment.
Few challenges facing America and the world are more urgent than combating climate change. The science is beyond dispute, and the facts are clear. Sea levels are rising. Coastlines are shrinking. We've seen record drought, spreading famine, and storms that are growing stronger with each passing hurricane season. Climate change and our dependence on foreign oil, if left unaddressed, will continue to weaken our economy and threaten our national security.
Number one, we're going to have to start doing a better job of conserving on energy. Americans like to drive their big SUVs. They like to leave all the lights on in their house. We're going to have to change our habits if we want to deal with climate change.
In case you were wondering, he was about to call it global warming, but people have gotten wise to that act. Just remember, legislation is currently being debated in the Senate that would drastically alter the way we create and use energy here in the United States. Now, we've talked about cap and trade before, but just remember that it's still out there. Next up, the President's 2009 apology tour.
One of the great strengths of the United States is, although as I mentioned, we have a very large Christian population, we do not consider ourselves a Christian nation.
Come here to Cairo to seek a new beginning between the United States and Muslims around the world. Upon the truth that America and Islam are not exclusive and need not be in competition.
This Democratic administration with Bill Clinton, because I'm pretty sure he had an accurate phrase for that gesture that just happened there.
I'm sure we all remember these embarrassing moments for our country. Our president threw America under the bus in front of the people who pretty much hate us most in the world. So let's move on to education.
Mom used to get me up at dawn to go over my lessons when I was living overseas. My grandparents worked hard to get me a scholarship to a great school that put me on a pathway to success. For me, the American dream began in a room like this. My family didn't have much money, but education made everything possible. I'm Barack Obama, and I want all our kids to have that chance.
Sure, other presidents before this one have spoken to children in the classroom, but none also sent out a lesson plan that went along with it. There also weren't videos of celebrities pledging allegiance to the president either. So, how about the economy?
The situation with Lehman Brothers and other financial institutions is the latest in a wave of crises that have generated enormous uncertainty.
This is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill recession. We are going through the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We will not go back to the days of reckless behavior and unchecked excess that was at the heart of this crisis.
It seems like the words catastrophe, crisis, depression, and recession will forever haunt the president's first few months in office. With the way the current administration made the economy sound, you would have thought that a meteorite was on a collision course with Earth and that we only had days to come up with a plan. This kind of rhetoric actually did more harm to the markets than it did good. Well, now let's move on to the issue that we're currently talking about, which is health care.
For all the chatter and the noise out there, what every American needs to know is this. If you don't have health insurance, you will finally have quality, affordable options once we pass reform.
I won't bore you to death with more healthcare videos. It's pretty much all that's talked about in the news these days anyways. Just remember though, the government wants to take on 1/6 of our economy, and we saw how much good they did for the automobile industry alone. This administration just can't seem to sit still, and it's trying to put its hand in every sector of America. They're hoping that by focusing on so many things at once that we will lose track of what they're doing. Well, we aren't going to let that happen here. That's it for this edition. Please stay tuned for more of Saul Alinsky's 12 Rules for Radicals here on Liar Liar.